Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another Ray Raven Inkside Chats video. Today, I'm giving you guys a look at the new sort of Genshin Impact sort of MMO sort of video game, Tower of Fantasy. I've got, I played the game for a few hours. This is actually another character that I played for the purposes of recording this video, but my main character I put a lot more time into. But I got about 25 minutes cut down of Tower Fantasy character customization stuff. I've just messed around a little bit here, but I've already mostly made my character. I've got some gameplay, different assorted kinds of gameplay, which we'll get into. I skip most, if not all, of the story related stuff. So please keep that in mind, that I'm going to be skipping through essentially everything related to the story, because not only have I already seen it, but I want to make sure that you guys don't see any, just in case you want to enjoy the story for yourself. Although I don't know if a game like this would really, I don't know, I wouldn't really pay attention to it very much, but that's up to you. And I also get all the way up to an interesting story segment, which doesn't really make a lot of sense without context. And I get up to the very first ruin, which is kind of similar to it is exactly similar to those small single player instanced areas in Genshin Impact. So I hope you would like to sit down, relax, have a drink with you while you're working on whatever it is, and just have the video in the background, whatever you want to do. And I'm just going to talk about my experience with the game. First and foremost, I think as we go through this little section where I'm riding this drone and kind of flying around. This is on rails, by the way. I'm not controlling it. The first thing is that this game visually does look actually really good. I'm using one of the 4 filters, which I'll show you here in a minute. I'm using one of the filters called retro, and that makes the game look very green. And the sky becomes like this very nice kind of green blue. And I liked playing with that for a while, but I switched back over to the default color set. But in any of the color sets, really, I think the game looks really good. The character customization was really in depth. My apologies for not showing too much of it, but there's plenty of stuff out there for seeing that kind of thing. Very in depth. You can change there's 3 presets for the height. You can change all the different parts of the hair, add a hair gradient, lots of different eye options. Clothes are kind of not too many options, but it is what it is. This is the second color option called Apocalypse. Makes the sky into this very interesting gray. It's very drab, very depressing looking. So I wouldn't use that particularly myself. This is called Brilliant. I think it just kind of ups the saturation from the default. It doesn't look bad. Everything is very bright and contrasty. So if you're into that kind of look, feel free. And then the last one that I was just using is Retro. This is that one where it's got that kind of nice green blue sky, and it's using that a little bit more reds as well in the environment, in the grass. But I decided to go back to the default. This is the default right here, and for the rest of the video I'll be using default. So next thing we get into is the combat tutorial. The way the combat system works, I think it is similar to Genshin, where once one of your weapons starts flashing, if you switch to that weapon, you'll do a unique kind of switch attack. I think it's called a discharge. And that encourages you to switch weapons often. I don't know why it gives me the tutorial to upgrade my weapon, even though I'm in combat and it won't let me. But I think that's a similar idea to the character switching in Genshin. It's just that in this game, you've got weapons and you switch weapons instead using a single character. We'll get to the gacha here in a bit. I do a decent amount of pulls and I get some okay stuff. Not great, but I get some okay stuff. So we'll get to that here in a second. This is an interesting plant that you can find in the environment. If you toss up one of those little water orb guys into it, they spawn either gold or black nuclei, which you use for the gacha. So definitely make sure to keep an eye out for those. This is the very first free gacha. You have to get her. You have to get Echo with her halberd. So don't worry too much about being able to cancel that one. But the halberd is really nice. This is the simulacra system. The weapons come with essentially skins of characters, and you can use those skins instead of your create a character. And those skins, like this character can use any of the weapons. It doesn't matter. They're essentially the same as your other character. The animations for the weapons, I really like. I think they're really good so far. They're not as flashy and smooth as the Genshin ones, but I think they're good. I don't think they're bad by any means. If you do play the game, make sure to claim all of your rewards and stuff. This is how I was able to get so many pulls. You just make sure to collect all your milestones and your early rewards and all that kind of thing. Make sure that you get all of that. But I think from what I've heard, I'm not a Genshin player, so this might be different for me, but from what I've heard, the gacha is a little more forgiving in this game than Genshin, but by a little bit. It's still, by gacha industry standards, I am a gacha player. I've played a lot. Azurline and Arknights are my main ones, but by gacha industry standards, it's still very low for SSRs, but it's not bad. I managed to get Nightingale's Feather for that one, and I forgot that I shouldn't skip the gacha stuff so that you guys can see the animation. It's nice. It's this little laser, shoots down. You go through this tunnel, and the color at the end of the tunnel is what your highest rarity item that you got. So I got a purple light, so that means my highest rarity was only an SR. I didn't get any SSRs for this one, but that's who I got. I got Pummeler. Pummeler is the weapon. I forgot the name of the girl, but she's a very cute girl. I'll go through all of that here in a bit. But yeah, the gacha is a tiny bit better than Genshin in terms of rates, but not necessarily good. Keep that in mind. Although if you're used to the Genshin gacha, then maybe this will end up being better. I'm not too sure. I end up skipping this one, but funny enough, I actually got a gold on this one, I believe. I think I decided to skip. Yeah, I got a gold there. I have to loot 0 and another SR that I didn't have yet. Now I decided to go ahead and go through the weapons and the simulacra and stuff just to see like the animations, what they do, all that sort of thing. Bai Ling is a very nice. I like her. She's my favorite. Very nice simulacrum for that bow. Hilda is kind of an engineer girl. Reminds me of Killjoy from Valorant. Pepper's like a Mercy-esque healer character, nurse type character. We got Echo already that we saw. Ene is super cute. She's a little, I don't know what animal she is, but that see-through spine, yeah, that looks so cute. I really love the design of that character. And Coco Ritter is another support healer nurse character, I believe, in the small category, and she's cute. Her little beanie is kind of nice. The SSR characters have different skins. She comes with that red jacket skin. Or well, she doesn't come with it, but you could get that if you wanted to. So gonna switch over to the weapons just to try them out. Absolute Zero is a staff weapon that's ice based. Pretty cool. I'm not too big on staff / magic weapons personally, so I ended up not using it. But it's cool. I like it. And of course we've got the Thunder Spear weapon. Switching on over to the Terminator, which is Hilda's weapon, and the Staff of Scar. Oh, I guess we'll show the Terminator in a bit. Sorry, we'll get there. But this is the other staff, same animations as you can see, but a different ender for the combo. Interestingly enough, so I didn't realize that the same category of weapon can have different enders. This is the ability for the staves, and they spawn a circle that heals. The other staff does a similar thing, but we'll get to that. This is the hammer, the SR hammer. Just pretty basic hammer things. You've got that big charged attack. The ability powers it up and you can do these repeated basic attacks, which are kind of cool. It feels very weighty. If you're thinking how does it feel to use, it feels great. It's my favorite weapon so far in the game. I've been primarily using that hammer and I will use it for the rest of the video. This is the Terminator. It's just a gun. Isn't that's so wild to me that it's just a gun. They decided to put a gun in this. The ability, you put it down like a turret, actually, and it shoots this very big, but very slow charging projectile. I can imagine that would be useful, but not really my thing, personally. But it's pretty cool. Oh, and the ability for this staff, the healing circle follows you, the caster, instead of being static on the ground. Also a unique dash for some weapons, as you can see right there. I don't think any of the other weapons had a unique dash. I think this weapon has like a kind of a unique thing where you dash looking in the same direction, like a strafe, like that. But that's about it. Now just a little show off of the Simulacra 3D models. Coco Ritter, cute. Very cute. Nice nice hoodie and beanie, because she's an ice character focused on like staying warm, of course, even though she's got the absolute territory. She is very tall. She's the tall category. As I said, there's like 3 height presets. Tall, very thin legs. So cute though. Interesting, pretty standard kind of nurse outfit. Moving on to Bai Lane, personally my favorite, because short hair is king. If you've made it this far into the video, are you a short hair or long person or long hair person? I'm a short hair person myself. But I think she's kind of based on that kind of Japanese archery outfit. So quite cool. Next is Hilda. That's the Killjoy sort of engineer character. It's nice. I am a really big fan of overalls, especially I like that they're kind of higher than the ankles, so you can see the ankles and the socks there. She's got the noise reduction headphones and a bunch of stuff around her waist because engineer, of course. Got the hair tied up in a bun. Cute, cute, very, very cute. Last but certainly not least, and it is so cute. I don't know what animal. I don't think it's a cat because she doesn't have a tail. Maybe a bear? I'm not too sure. But definitely the small category. The hammer is her signature weapon though. So looks good with it. Definitely suited for it. The see-through abdomen with the spine is very, very nice. I think I zoom in a little bit on it there. Very, very good. I didn't expect to see that kind of thing in this game, but really sweet. Moving on, this is the story section that introduces a little bit of varied gameplay, and that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about is that this game has quite a decent amount of varied gameplay other than just hitting enemies like that one. It introduces a lot of unique things. We saw that flying section at the very beginning of the video and the very beginning of the game. you've got that flying section where you fly around and touch those little field surveyor robots. There's a few of those actually that you can find all around. But you've got a bunch of different types of things like that, and we'll get to something like that here soon. Like I mentioned, skipping the cutscenes. This is a little bit of a bow tutorial because they give you this fire bow for free. So far... Oh, and I was about to mention, it might sound like I'm sponsored or something. This is not a sponsored video. I'm making a video on this so that you guys, if you're interested in the game, can have a little bit of impressions about the first maybe hour of playing. See what it's like. I somehow missed my shot with that. Never been too great at bows. But not a sponsored video. Just showing y'all so that you can make an educated decision about whether or not you like the game. The English dub is okay. I'd rate it maybe a 7 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's not like incredible. So up to you, whichever one you'd like to do. I've played with both, and I'm definitely going to be sticking to the Japanese dub. But I guess that's usually how it is with these Genshin type games. Well, I feel like this is the only big. This is like Genshin game number 2 in terms of like the bigger ones anyway. This is fun. You get to use a little story mode turret. I'm gonna skip this cutscene so that you don't see story stuff. But this is another different kind of gameplay section. I think you get this skateboard in the future to ride on as well as ride over water with. But then you do a little bit of Ace Combat gaming. Not quite Ace Combat. Don't shoot me. I've played Project Wingman. I know what I'm talking about. But you get a little bit of extra fun with flying around this big ship and trying to shoot it down. It's pretty bog standard stuff. It just kind of puts you on rails and you shoot the ship. I think at this point I already did enough damage for it to go down, yeah. And it kind of clips into the ground right here a little bit before the explosion happens, but you know, it is what it is. Something that I will definitely note is that I definitely don't think this game has a lot of polish. It's nowhere near as polished as Genshin. So that might bother you, that might not. If you're comparing it to Genshin and you're like a hardcore Genshin player, then that might be something that bothers you. It's definitely not as polished, but I will say it's got a lot of polish. It's just that Genshin is such a high bar when it comes to that, you know. Genshin is an incredibly high bar. I mean, the polish is fantastic with that game. And this game, not quite there, but not necessarily bad. It just feels like they kind of rushed it out the door a little bit because they're trying to make that compete with Genshin money, you know? Getting to the first boss of the story mode here, and this is the tutorial on the interesting, I don't know if Genshin has this combat thing, but the combat system called Fantasia. So when you dodge an attack, and the dodge window is very generous, don't worry about not being able to do that. When you dodge an attack, you get a free discharge on either one of your weapons. So you're able to DPS a little bit more that way. And not only do you get a free discharge, but that discharge is stronger than normal. It was both stronger than normal and just like a little bit different in some cases actually. So it's pretty cool. It makes you feel like you did some decent video gaming. This boss had absolutely no health to it, so just destroy that very quickly. But the next boss will have a little bit more. This is the very first ruin. I definitely need to make my transitions a little bit longer next time because I'm realizing they're a little bit short. But by the way, if you're watching this and you have an opinion on this, let me know. I've been thinking about whether or not to keep the music, the lo-fi music, or if you prefer the in-game music, because the in-game music is muted right now. By the way, the music is very standard. It's okay. It's like it's enjoyable to listen to, but it's not necessarily anything great for Tower of Fantasy. But if you got an opinion on that, anything you'd like me to try out, let me know. This ruin introduces the relic system. They're essentially a little tool so you can equip to help you platform and traverse in the ruins and this kind of content. Just making sure that I have the right weapons equipped here before I head in. But there is this relic that I just used. It's kind of like a rocket launcher. It can destroy, breakable terrain. The next relic that they give you is, I'm forgetting. I think it's the gun. I don't know if it might not be the gun. I'm blanking. But there is a relic that they give you that's a gun that shoots a extendable platform off of a wall. So interesting kind of platforming tool there. Bunch of these exploding barrels that you can use for getting rid of these basic enemies. In this ruin, though, they're not in every ruin. All of the ruins have sort of different mechanics catered to the relic that they want you to use. Although I end up not using the relic anyway and just blowing the wall up with the barrel. 2 chests per ruin. Make sure you collect all those. I'm looking at some sus stuff in the chat right now. I think I should have blocked it in the edit, but the chat is a little weird. So, typical anime game players, keep that in mind. But as we wrap up here and get to the end of the ruin, I just wanted to say thank you very much for watching the video. In terms of my impressions of Tower of Fantasy so far, I think I'm liking it. I don't think I'm liking it to the point where I'm going to play it a lot, but I want to play it at least a little bit more. It's not bad. The character customization was better than I imagined. The combat feels good. Not as good as Genshin, but it feels good. Don't take me saying not as good as Genshin as bad. It's just, again, Genshin is a very high bar. And they add new things to this combat that make it a little bit more interesting. So I like it. It's definitely something that I want to keep playing. But definitely not something that I will continue to play for a long time. So if you care about my opinion on it, there it is. I forgot what button it is to mount, Seth. But this mount system, all you do is just spam the attack button and you kind of stab him in the back a few times, get some extra damage off. Nothing too crazy. The dodging is exactly the same as Genshin if you were wondering, sorry. But yeah, I think we're just getting close to the end here. The boss definitely has a lot more health than that previous one, but still a little bit of a pushover. As you get to the other ruins, the later ruins, not necessarily later, but like Ruin 2 and Ruin 3 in the starting area, the bosses are a little bit more challenging, so you can be excited for that. Just stab this guy to death. A little brutal. And that's it. That's Ruin 1. It unlocks the end of the dungeon here, and you can run on over. The first time I went through this, I completely forgot where the first chest was. So I only had 1 out of 2 chests, and I was like, where the hell is this first one? But I got it first try on this second run. This animation is pretty nice and satisfying. It reminds me almost a little bit of Breath of the Wild when you go through those dungeons, and well, I guess Genshin takes a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild. The loading screens have really nice art, by the way. Like, man, really, really cute art. I really appreciate it. If you're looking for cute boys in the art, it's mainly cute girls. But it's not too bad. But we've reached the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has helped you decide whether or not you want to play Tower of Fantasy. And I'll see you soon for the next video. Thank you very much for watching again. Take care. Bye-bye.